Here are some of the biggest upcoming horror games that are making their way to PS5. Hello folks, it's Aidan here from Push Square, and it's that time of the year again, where the nights are getting darker and the temptation to cozy yourself up in the house and scare the living daylights out of yourself just gets all the stronger. Today I want to cast my mind to the future to look at some of the biggest horror games making their way to PS5 in 2026 and beyond. But before we get into it, please do consider subscribing to the channel, that really does help me out. But anyway, let's get spooky. The Sinking City 2 is an upcoming third-person survival horror game set in the otherworldly, Lovecraftian version of a 1920s US. This sequel has actually been a part of a Kickstarter scheme. This one was scheduled to launch in 2025, but I've actually had to come back into the edit because it's since been announced that it's slipping into 2026. Whenever it does drop, you will be exploring the flooded streets of Arkham. You'll be fighting eldritch abominations and facing beings known as the Great Old Ones, who are described as being beyond human comprehension. With its dark mystery and killer style, this is set to be a great horror experience whenever it finally drops on PS5. Crisol Theatres of Idols is a first-person horror experience from Blumhouse Games. It's set in a nightmarish version of Spain where folklore and religion intertwine. So you'll have to traverse a world filled to the brim with spooky legends and sacred rituals as horrifying statues of saints come to life. It's got this cool mechanic where you use your own blood or drain the blood of others to use as ammunition in gun-based combat. Like you actually stab yourself with the gun in various ways to reload them. It's obviously on the lower scale of budgets, but it's got a strong aesthetic, and I personally really enjoy these types of horrors that utilise folklore. It's definitely one to look out for when it launches on PS5 in the future. Easily one of my most anticipated games on this list is Resident Evil Requiem, the 9th mainline entry in this long-running horror series. Playing as Grace Ashcroft, an FBI analyst, you must venture back to the hotel your mother was murdered in, a quest that will somehow see you return to the crumbling ruins of Raccoon City. Continuing on the tradition of RE7 and 8, this game will feature a first-person perspective, but interestingly, it will also give you the option to play in third person, like in the remakes of RE2, 3 and 4. Now supposedly it will even feature a dynamic mode that shifts between the two. Either way, it will be utterly horrifying as you run away from some ghastly, persistent creature similar to that of Mr. X, but somehow even worse. Requiem is heading to PS5 on February 27th, 2026. From the team that originally made the Little Nightmares series, Tarsier Studios has now moved on to a new IP called Reanimal, which to be honest is very Little Nightmares coded. It has traces of Inside as well and is described as a co-op horror adventure. As a brother and sister, you must find your escape from a place that's gone from home to hell. It's got some gnarly looking creatures in there, and as you would expect, an oppressively dark setting. This one's scheduled for release on PS5 Q1 2026. End of Abyss is another oppressively dark horror experience. As a young combat technician, you must explore the underground areas of an abandoned space station, which you discover to be infested with mutated creatures. It's rocking a top-down perspective, making lines of sight real clear when you blast these creatures to bits, and it looks like they can actually break apart into multiple enemies when you do. This is Section 9 Interactive's first game, which obviously leaves a degree of uncertainty, but it is made up of some veterans of the Little Nightmares series, funnily enough, and man, I'm loving these sort of atmospheric horror indies. The stark reds and blues amidst misty horrors really do it for me. This one's coming to PS5 in 2026 with no firm release date as of yet. Delayed out of 2025 into 2026, Directive 8020 is a sci-fi spin on the Dark Pictures formula. This is developed by Supermassive Games, who just made Little Nightmares 3. The franchise is in everything apparently, but this entry is quite a bit different. It's a harshly single-player adventure with a human-mimicking alien killing off your squad one by one aboard a spaceship. The The comparisons to The Thing are apt and have me intrigued from the very start, but mixed in with that supermassive decision-making mechanic, I think it could be a genuine banger. You have to decide who to trust when any of them could be a deadly alien imposter. I cannot wait for this one to drop in the first half of 2026. Now, we don't know too much about Ill other than the fact that it looks pretty sick. This is a realistic first-person action horror game featuring unpredictable monsters, a visceral dismemberment system, and realistic physics. It looks properly grim, immersive, and really tense. Also, who knows what the hell the context to all of this is, but it's impressive nonetheless. It does have a kind of PC look about it, so hopefully the PS5 version handles all of those disturbing little details well enough. No release date on this one just yet. From Saber Interactive, we have Clive Barker's Hellraiser Revival, which is described as a new chapter in the legendary franchise. It's a first-person action horror survival game where you play as Aiden, a man that must utilize the power of the mysterious Genesis configuration to help his girlfriend escape from the otherworldly hellscape of the Labyrinth. This is Hellraiser canon for all those that care, and will see you facing off against a cult devoted to the Cenobites. Not gonna lie, I am not super familiar with this franchise, so this is all a bit gobbledygook to me, but I know that there is a massive following behind this series, and it's nice to see it getting a single player treatment too. This one is scheduled for 2026, nothing more specific sadly. Now, sort of on the other end of the movie tie-ins, we have Halloween the Game, which has a locked-in release date of September 8th, 2026. Weird that we've got that one so far out, but anywho, this is an asymmetrical horror experience akin to Dead by Daylight, where players will either take on the role of survivors or Michael Myers. Now, I have to say, these games are always fun, but do they last? Not so much. We've had The Evil Dead, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th. Will Halloween the Game be the one to buck the trend? Who's to say? But again, big franchise, big following, and it'll probably be a laugh to play around Halloween next year. OD is the ambitious collaboration project from Hideo Kojima and Jordan Peele. What do we actually know about it? Well, of course, it's a Kojima game. There's a lot of secrecy surrounding it, and so far we've only really seen a teaser starring Sophia Lillis from Dungeons & Dragons and It. It is giving some big PT vibes, Kojima's infamous demo of a cancelled Silent Hill game, and has some insane looking graphics as well, especially the facial performance capture. It's promised, however, to be a one-of-a-kind experience that blends video games and films together. So how that actually manifests into a finished product is beyond me. Now, this game is actually being made with Xbox Game Studios, so that likely means it won't launch on the PS5 and will feature some kind of timed exclusivity similar to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It's likely still some time away at this point. I'll certainly be curiously awaiting to see what it actually is. Now, this is a way down the line type of game, but one I just had to mention, and that is Alien Isolation 2. On the 10th anniversary of the iconic horror game, Creative Assembly announced a new game was in development. Now, it's in the early stages and likely will be some time away, but when I tell you I near enough jumped out of my chair when I heard about this, I am not lying. I love the Alien franchise and I adored Alien Isolation, even though it had some technical hitches at the time. But the vibe and the aesthetic was pitch perfect. But I just can't wait to see more of that with sparklier graphics afforded by the PS5 or perhaps even the PS6 at this rate. Either way, I'm an excited wee lad that loves him some alien sci-fi horror, and I can't believe we're actually getting a sequel. Anyway, those are 11 upcoming horror games, some close by, some not so much, but across the board, we're certainly in for some scares. Let me know if there's one that sticks out to you down in the comments below, and while you're there, remember to like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more PlayStation video content just like this. Anyway, that's it from me today, so until next time, I've been Aaron and this has been Push Square.